So Starbucks wants you to believe that. We may be energy deficient, but nitric oxide won the Nobel Prize in 1998. Not a lot of people can talk about something that won the Nobel Prize. So let me tell you what company Nobel Prize what has won. Insulin, penicillin, X-rays, vitamin D3 won the Nobel Prize in the 50s. Think those things are important? Okay? Now, that's what this won in 1998, but here's an example of, just blood flow. So it has all these hit points. First of its kind, it's targeted, it's microdosing, it's nitric oxide on the fly, it's BAM or SNAP now. I have a new vernacular. I used to say BAM, boom, what? Now it's SNAP. Like, I'm gonna snap my spray, okay? Why not? Let's invent it today. And if you look, comes from data from the physician's desk reference. A lot of you are going to be taking pictures. Great, you're going to have this here. But if you look at most capsules, the absorption is very low, about less than 10%. Imagine if you got less than 10% miles to the gallon. Anybody interested in that? Or we're getting at interest rate right now, less than 5%. Okay, that's the absorption. Gel capsules are a little better, and then you go up to transdermal patches, which are considered actually right now a pharmaceutical delivery system, a drug mechanism. So they do this for like nicotine, things like that. The absorption about 40%. Sublingual liquids are great. You put those under the tongue, because the mouth, this has what's called buccal mucosa, these little microns, it goes right into the bloodstream. Then you have an intramuscular injection. Now, I was just in Costa Rica, interestingly enough, and you go to the pharmacy, you can get a B12 shot, right? You get that? Well, do you know that this right here is the equivalent of one injectable each week? A B12? Did you know that? Didn't know that, did you? Lot easier.
Will you repeat that, Mark?
Okay, this is equal to 4 injectables a month. Because a B12 shot, you cannot take B12, well you can, it just won't absorb, it won't even into those. B12 does not absorb through the lining of the mouth. Wow. That's why they give you a painful injection. And it becomes time release, slow release. Now you can get sublingual tabs and things like that, but what we have here is very strong, goes right in there, and you'll hear later on that. So here we are, intraoral spray, 90 to 95% absorption. On the fly, bam, or sorry, excuse me, snap. I'm getting used to it. So NO has been, it kind of blocks off their cardiovascular cure. I helped write the first 4 chapters of this book. I recommend you get this. You can still get it on Amazon. Just say no to heart disease. This is one of the 3 Nobel laureates, Louis Ignarro, originally from UCLA, 3 Americans that won that Nobel Prize. The NO, of course, stands for nitric oxide. And I love getting the no out of the way. Have you heard of nitric oxide? Some people are going to say, well, no. Well, great, here you are. And you pass the baton. Sorry, well, I've got my thing there, but we'll just, we'll go right here. Line it up in your mouth. And sometimes people will do this when you do it like, like it's like this thing, like, oh my God, it's like, hey.
It's great.
Bianca.
It's a new one. Oh.
And there it is. Woo. All right. So NO has many properties. It's precursor. So you cannot actually supplement NO. Let me be very clear on that. You cannot. Actually, NO is actually quite toxic. So in the winter, have you ever seen the exhaust come out the pipe? That's NO. When a rocket blasts all that fume, that white stuff, NO. In fact, last night I saw some NO. Lightning. The lightning or even a blast, that white charge is NO. In the natural world, fireflies, when their butt is glowing, that's NO. It's true. Oh yeah. So it has other properties because it's a gas, but it goes within the lining of our arteries. Our arteries produce this. And when it functions properly, it dilates and keeps the arteries. And it's kind of like your internet. So I dare you not to have internet all day today. I dare you. Well, guess what? What if you didn't have internet with your body? That's what nitric oxide is. It's a messenger molecule. It tells the body, hey, and so if you have low blood pressure, it may raise it. So it's got that balancing. If it's high, it'll bring it down. It takes some time, but this is an adaptogenic. It's never room to further that. But there has been so many studies based on this that I only will, because this is fast-acting nitric oxide, excuse me, we're going to talk about respiratory and immune system, and of course, energy. Because it is in a base of methylcobalamin, which is the methylated group of vitamin B12. So this is a pharmaceutical derived component. It's all in a handy little, snappy little container. See what I did there? Just one. I'm following your lead there, Meg. Okay, so here we are talking about we've all had one thing in common over the last couple of years. We thought we would catch something. It's lurking. All of a sudden, oh, there it is, I see it. There's a cloud over there, and someone just coughed or sneezed, maybe even farted, but I'm not sure. But apparently that germs are coming all over the place here, so that germ theory, I'm not gonna go deep dive into that. But we all had something in common that we potentially could catch something. Now, granted, if you have somebody that already has a compromised immune system, high blood pressure, Democrat, I had to do that. I'm from California, okay, guys? San Francisco. We got some problems. But anyway, we talked about what's called cytokine storms. And NO, and it's funny, I'm coughing, I didn't do that before. It's because it's activating, and it comes in like a clean sweep. And this is the body's natural mechanism. These is where we're feeding the body to allow what it does best, which is to try to stay in homeostasis, balanced. So, very clean label. This is what we refer to in manufacturing as a clean label. It lists out very clearly, you have L-arginine in very low dose. I still recommend some people take additional, but again, I do. It has potassium nitrate. We have a special permit for this. So a lot of you that love to Google, someone says, oh my gosh, apparently they make bombs out of potassium nitrate. Yes, they do, but that is an inorganic. Ours comes from natural vegetables. It's an extract. So nitrates are very important. There's other books I'd recommend about that. L-norvaline, which is excellent as well, which is a precursor. It works synergistically with the arginine. And of course you have the B3 and the B12 as methylcobalamin listed right there. And look at the daily value, 8,000%. Oh my goodness, but I'm going to suggest one thing. That alone is where 99% of vegans, vegetarians, are deficient. Okay, because you will get more B12 from protein. Very hard to get actually in a plant-based. But nothing synthetic in what we're doing. It can be extracted, but that seems very high, but this is actually a great dose. Can I get some water? Excuse me. Oh, there's one right there. Oh. Snap. This one's open. Okay. benefits of alpha-ketoglutarate.
Here's one.
And this is, again, this is going to be listed on the website. Benefits of L-norvaline, what we could do with B12. Great, thank you. Let me see, I'm going to quantize this. I'm going to go a little bit earlier on that. Let's see here. Okay, and what we talk about in this right here is being able to reproduce your red blood cells. And I think some of you would know that this is, there's a thing called homocysteine. It's not listed there. It's not a condition from San Francisco. It's an actual lipid thing. And I'm making fun of that. I'm from there, okay? So, okay. Homocysteine is actually something I highly recommend most of you ask your doctors. And one of the protocols for homocysteine, which is a high lipid count, is vitamin B12. Okay, so you want to keep, you don't want to have all those lipids. I'm not talking about cholesterol now. Actually, cholesterol has been given a very bad name. I'm not saying it's my best friend, but it's not as bad as what they purport it to be. This is what we get: potassium nitrate. These are both organic. This all inorganic and organic helps create that. It has natural amount of potassium in it as well. That's why we listed on that. It's very important for your metabolic processes, and as a mineral, it's very important. Niaminoside. This again, we've updated this. It's specifically for that. So this is one of my favorite charts. You're only as old as your arteries. So I'm in that 50+ tax range in there. And normally for my age group, I would be only producing about 35%. That'd be considered normal to my age group. But over there, if you look here, this is when arteries become stiffer, harder. So when my father first started on nitric oxide therapy, he was about 63 years of age. We did a pulse wave analysis with him by then Dr. Joe. And my father could not believe it. I still can't believe it. He was 20 years older inside. Now my dad has 8 brothers. He didn't smoke. He tried to drink. He drank scotch and things like that. Now he's into wine, or he drank some beer. But he was pretty fit. He was a professional soccer player. But Dad was already 20 years older. So I've been monitoring every year. I try to get omegas. He won't take them. Or just when I'm there and he does it, and he does D2-3 separately. But what happens is now my father would be very much towards it. This almost looks like a jelly donut, right? This becomes hard. So think about it, at the very beginning, it's almost like a cream cheese, like caulking. It gets really soft. That's what they refer to as plaque. But then by the time you get from 40, 50, 60, that becomes hard, like hard cheese. That's hard plaque. Now some of this stuff breaks off. That's where you get some of the, again, strokes or heart attacks come from this. But the safety mechanism of the arteries is quite fascinating, that it won't release it in the wild. It actually absorbs it through the arteries, and it'll eliminate that way. So it kind of melts. It doesn't, I'm not saying, I don't want to refer here that you're going to go from like 80 to 50 like my father has in the last 20-something, almost 30 years. My father now, when I did a pulse wave, so if anyone asks, I can provide this documentation. My father has a chronological age of 83. His arteries are that of a 54-year-old. His name is Orlando. And my father is not happy about it. He wants to be 40-something. I wish I was kidding, but I'm not even kidding or exaggerating. That's my dad. Beto and I were in Costa Rica last year, and my dad literally dusted both of us at the beach. He went up an incline, I don't know, maybe about a mile, and we couldn't even keep up with him. So that's my dad. I'm really proud of himself. But this takes time. I'm a big believer in test, not guess. We're going to introduce that today. So here it is. Imagine that you have right there in your mouth, I was gonna do this on lawn before I came up here. Here is, and this is not new, but it's new to us. You can get these, I think Tracy bought some the other day. Tracy Dillon, you there? Tracy, when I know she bought some on Amazon, okay? And I've got videos and things I can show you. So literally, I did take my NO this morning. You saw I just took it a moment ago. You do not put this directly to your saliva. What you do is you wet your finger and you find there's like a little cotton part there, okay? And I just do this. So I'm gonna show you first. And it has a scale. Now granted, you don't wanna do this after you've had some coffee or anything. You wanna do it later, but literally, you wait for it to dry. And I know none of you really will be able to see this. These are available today. We brought a limited amount. Anyone that gets it will get a lease for their Cardia fuel. Okay, but if you could see there, Meg, if you can look at that right there. You can show everybody. Okay, it's kind of in the zone. Now, 99% of the people I do this test with, I've done it the other day. I was with Heather we were in Los Angeles. We did it with the Korean group. Not one of them was actually showing any color. Now, okay, I kind of cheated. I took the spray just a moment ago. So, we will do this outside, complimentary. They are available online between $20 or $25 on Amazon. Today, you can get one for 15 or two for 20. See what I did there? There's 25 in there. Now, I know many of you used for years, and I still recommend you do it, the enzymes, when you do the pudding test. Well, this is the pudding test for the sprays, because what happens is, the darker the color, so right there, I'm kind of in the threshold, right? Threshold, so I'm in between the threshold and low. Okay, now, let me tell you how long the sprays actually last. I took about 4 or 6 there. It lasts anywhere from 4 to 6 hours. So ideally you want to take it in the morning. Now, you're networkers, right?
Yes.
If they don't believe me, I say, take the spray at night. If you can't sleep all night, then I think you should be doing this business. No, that's just cruel. Don't do that. But it will keep you up after a certain hour. 4 o'clock. Has anybody experienced that? You have, okay. Interestingly enough, Becca was telling me he takes the nitro at night. I don't know how he does it. But I cannot do it after 4 o'clock in any time zone I'm at. After that, it's like 12, 1, 2 in the morning. I'm wide awake. Okay, so we will have these brochures ready, print ready, that explain all about how to use a saliva test. I'm going to give you a little sneak peek here, folks. We also have it for free radical with your saliva. We have it for vitamin C. And we have it for uric acid coming up by next year. The fact that you can get immediate response, we're not the first to do this. There's other companies that do lozenges, and they do even capsules, and it takes a while for it to activate. What we've been able to do is take all of these as not necessarily a sales tool. It creates a conversation. So any of you that are doing home meetings or start doing, let's say, some these trade shows, I like those ones. I know people that are doing this in flea markets, or they do it, you know, and they're testing people, and they do it themselves. So let me go ahead and let's sit. Who'd be open to? You want to do it, sir? Now this will not tell me if you had Jack Daniels last night, because I know you're probably a whiskey guy, right? Okay, all right. So go ahead and grab it. So grab that. Feel where the little padding is. You feel where it is? Yeah, so what you want to do is you want to just wet your finger and wet that part there. Very good. Okay, so let's just give it a second to, okay. Okay, Mr. Bush, it's a girl. Whoa, what? Well, okay, I'm looking at it and it hasn't changed color, right? No, it's pretty dry. There's no color change, okay? So, let's do NO on the fly. Have you taken your cardio fuel? Well, you've been outed, I already knew that. Okay, so let's see if I can get this around off my, well, they put this thing here. Come closer. Good way to meet girls. 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay, 4, gotcha. Pretty good aim, right? So we're gonna give it a few minutes. Generally you wanna go anywhere from 2 to 5, but I'm not gonna do it right now for the interest of time. I think I've gone over. But what I'm gonna do is, you can use the same self-stick. This is a pharmaceutical company out of Korea. And remember that this is in his system now. Mr. Bush has the NO, let it do what it's gonna do. You wanna wait about 30 seconds to a minute before you eat or drink anything. And like I said, you want a lot of athletes already doing this, or people that wanna stay in the zone. Quite frankly, I'll do it in the morning, but it's really a way of measuring. It's really just giving that like introduction about what is potentially deficient. Now you're probably doing everything right. You're doing all, you're taking your enzymes, you're doing all these things that are good. But guess what? Even you yourself have not taken your cardio fuel. And then it gets you in the zone, and you'll notice it. And have any of you experienced through the feedback of other people, them saying, hey, am I supposed to I feel something there. I feel a little tingly. Has anybody experienced that with cardio fuel? Or even yourself? See, that's the type of thing that people like. It's an instant gratification. Now, mind you, even a 5-hour energy, which I'm no friend of, we don't need that. You have the healthy tea and coffee that actually has health benefits. Now you have a healthy energy that has the other benefits of the cardiovascular. But I tell you what, Mr. Bush, think pink. Once you start getting in these colors, go ahead and wet it one more time. And by the way, when I've done this, I can go back, sorry, it's too late now. I will actually show, I have pictures of this. Go back one more, thank you for that. Okay, I've had people start with depleted, where Mr. Bush was, and at least they'll get the lower threshold. And so where are we at now?
Low.
Still low? Let's see. It's got some color now. Yeah, I didn't have any before. Okay, so it's a little bit early for him. I will wait another 15 to 20 minutes. Remember this, because the bacteria in your mouth is actually what's producing the NO. And it actually goes all the way to your stomach. It's in your bloodstream, so your microbiome is actually affected by this as well. That's why synergistically, when you add this, you couple it with the enzymes, with all the adaptogenic herbs and things that you're taking, it all works together, because it's all about the flow. So don't worry about it. Now remember, I also only gave Mr. Bush 4 sprays. Let's give you another 4, okay? So we're gonna, sometimes I prefer, go ahead and you do it yourself. I prefer to space them out. It's better to take 4 in the morning, 4 a little bit later. There's some of us that take 8 at a clip. I don't recommend more than this would be for children under 18. Every once in a while, if they're doing a sporting event, 1 or 2 sprays. Because then I don't want them to hurt the other team if they're doing a sporting event. Things like that. So I know I'll be out in the back. I don't know if you've met yet Beto. His name is Beto. Robert will be in the back there. He's also one of the trainers. I've been working with him since he was this tall. So with that, Miss Heather, my dear friend, my soul sister, come on up here, my dear. And so, remember, we'll have these out in the table, and we'll be doing demos with this right there that you could try yourself, okay? So let's try it one more time. Mr. Bush, one more time. Just roll. Oh.
Wow.
Okay, did you hear the? So, all right, so ladies and gentlemen, oh yeah, this is what I refer as a snap moment. It's like, in Mr. Bush's case, 8 was the sweet number. Some people are between 2 to 4 squirts race. So with that, my dear, appreciate you.